Hello everybody, my name is Darryl One and I am the music director of the Victoria Symphony Orchestra, and I want to welcome you to this video preview of our upcoming 42nd season that's going to start in the next month. Our theme for the season is a symphonic travelogue, and what we are going to be doing is exploring music along many famous routes throughout history. And every concert will feature something of that sort. So let's start with concert number 1, which is called The Pathway of Voyager 1. Now many of you know Voyager 1 and 2 were probes launched in the late 70s and headed out into space. And in fact, they're still out there and heading outside of our galaxy right now, but explored many planets. And we will be exploring planets too as well in this program. But let me tell you a little bit about the first half before we get to the planet part of it. This concert will mark my debut as composer here with the Victoria Symphony. I wrote an overture which I entitled Foothills Overture, and it is dedicated to Dr. Leonard and Penny Geets, who are longtime supporters of the Victoria Symphony and also close personal friends of mine now as well. And this piece, Foothills Overture, was named after the foothills outside of Pincher Creek, Alberta, Canada, which is where Dr. Geets is from. I took the theme of this piece from the letters of their name. So if you think about the letters of their name and take only the letters that pertain to musical notes and put it together, you get a 6-note figure, and that 6-note figure is where everything from this overture comes from. So I hope you will enjoy this piece, and I also hope the Geetses will, as well as it is dedicated to them, and I'm really excited about doing this as a tribute to all that they've done for the Victoria Symphony Orchestra. After that, we'll be featuring Indianapolis International Violin Competition winner Tessa Lark. She was a silver medalist, and she will be playing the Tchaikovsky Violin Concerto, one of the great violin concertos of all time. And that will close out the first half. After that, we'll come back and we'll play Gustav Holst's piece, The Planets. Probably the most popular work of his, and probably one of the most popular works of all time. And we are going to be featuring The Voyage of Discovery. And it's a video that will be performed while the orchestra is performing on the screens above. So you'll get to see all kinds of wonderful scenes of space and the planets, all while we are performing Gustav Holst's work, The Planets. And it's in a somewhat way, we will be following the path of Voyager 1 and 2. So that's concert number 1. Concert number 2 we call the Orient Express. And many of you know this famous train route that started in 1883 and only in 2009 was finally taken off all of the schedules of the trains in Europe. But the Orient Express started out in London, and it went to Athens, Greece, and also went to Istanbul and other spots along the way. So here is the Orient Express, and we are going to be starting over here in London, in Paris, and then finally ending up over here in Budapest. So that is the Orient Express. We'll be starting out with the Elgar Cello Concerto. Elgar was a British composer, and we'll be performing this piece with Cecily Parnas, who is our guest soloist on cello. And this is the first time that we'll be actually performing the first half just concerto only, no overture or anything else. Intermission will follow, and then we'll explore Budapest, and we will be featuring the music of Zoltan Kodály. Kodály is very well known in music education circles for his method, the Kodály method of teaching music. But he was also a wonderful composer and a collector of Hungarian folk songs. So many times he took these folk songs and cast them into orchestral tone poems, and we'll be playing one of those. It's called The Dances of Galanta, featuring folk songs from the Galanta area in Hungary. And then we'll be going on to Paris to feature the music of Claude Debussy, the French composer from the Impressionist school of music, and we'll be playing a piece of his called La Mer, which means the sea, and it is a 3-movement work. It's called La Mer 3 Symphonic Sketches, and each of them evokes different characters and moods Debussy thought of the sea and of water. And this is one of the most well-known works of his and one of the most popular works in the orchestral repertoire, even though we've never actually performed it since I've been music director in Victoria. It's highly colorful and very beautiful, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. After that, we are going to move on to our Pops concert. We're featuring the Texas tenors, which is apropos for us being in Texas. They first made their mark in 2009 on the television show America's Got Talent, and they made such a big hit. They went off on their own, and they play nationally and internationally as well. So I guess they fit our theme in that they've carved their own pathway, the pathway of the Texas tenors throughout the U.S. and throughout the whole world. But there are 3 singers, and each one has their own specialty. One is a country western singer, one's a pop singer, and one's an opera singer. So you'll hear a little bit of all 3 genres, and combining these voices into trios and duos, etc., all along with the Victoria Symphony Orchestra. We will also feature a first half with the orchestra too, so you'll get to hear a little bit of music with the orchestra itself, and then onto the Texas tenors. So I'm sure you're going to enjoy that. 3 different genres in one concert, and it's going to be a terrific program. Then we'll move on to concert number 4, and we'll be exploring the Silk Road, which is a very ancient route, started in 206 BC. And as you can imagine, the Silk Road, it was used for trade in silk. And being silk, this was mostly in the Chinese region of the world and moving across the continent through India, through what was known as Pakistan and Afghanistan today, but was known as Persia in that time. Now here is the map of the Silk Road, and as you can see, over on this side here's China, and then down here this is the Persian area. As you can see, India's up here, and this is the pathway that this took, and we are going to be exploring music along the way in that. We're going to start out by featuring an American composer, Charles Tomlinson Griffiths, in a work of his called The Pleasure Dome of Kublai Khan. Now, Kublai Khan was one of the emperors of China, and Griffiths took his inspiration from a poem about Kublai Khan that Samuel Coleridge Taylor had written. So it has a little bit of a connection to the poem, but it's mostly just a musical tone poem in which he tried to create and evoke some sounds in the melodies and the themes, creating this atmosphere of these of Persia and Arabia. So the themes are a little bit more oriental in nature. After that, I'm really excited because we're going to be performing a concerto written by 2 Chinese composers. It's called the Butterfly Lovers Concerto, and it was written for violin. But these composers, after they'd written it for violin, had decided to rewrite it for the traditional Chinese instrument, the erhu. And they decided to write it for the erhu, and they wrote it for a virtuoso erhu player named Jibin Chen. And Jibin Chen is going to be coming to play this concerto with us on the erhu. So you're going to hear a traditional Chinese instrument in a traditional Chinese concerto written by 2 Chinese composers. So you can't get too much into the Silk Road by doing that. Finally, we'll have intermission, and we'll be featuring Rimsky-Korsakov's Scheherazade, which of course follows loosely the stories of the 1001 Arabian Nights. So it follows that Persian Arabian theme and taking us along the Silk Road to the other side from China. So that's going to be an exciting and fun concert, especially with the erhu. And finally, the last concert is going to be called The Amber Road. And the Amber Road was also an ancient route, started in 1600 BC, and it was used for the transportation of, as you might think, amber. And amber was used as somewhat as a form of currency at that time. So it was very well traveled, and it followed the area that we would know today as Italy and went all the way up to St. Petersburg, Russia. So here is a map of the Amber Road. So you can see all the way down here that we're in Italy and through the Czech Republic and all the way to Russia and up to St. Petersburg here at the top. And that was the Amber Road. And what we'll be doing is exploring music along the way of the Amber Road. So starting in Italy, we'll be playing an overture by Rossini, La Gazzaladra, and then through Russia, featuring the Tchaikovsky Piano Concerto No. 1 in B flat, and then finally through the Czechoslovakian area, and we'll be featuring Dvorak's Scherzo Capriccioso and Josef Suk's Scherzo Fantastique. Now, what I'd like to say a little bit about this piano concerto, we all know the Tchaikovsky Piano Concerto, but this is part of a new project. This is a project that will span the next 5 seasons. It's called the Van Cliburn Project, and we are working in partnership with the Van Cliburn competition in Fort Worth, Texas. And we will be featuring a winner, a gold or a silver medal medalist from the Tchaikovsky competition, the Van Cliburn competition in Fort Worth, Texas. And so for the next 5 years we'll be doing that. It's a project that is being sponsored by James and Tina Wayne, who are generously offering their support for this. And also, as many of you know, we're also the sponsors for our recent Brandenburg project, in which we performed all 6 of the Brandenburgs. So now we will be performing the 5 top piano concertos and featuring all Van Cliburn winners. And that's an exciting project that we're going to be undertaking, the first one, this closing concert of this season. So those are our 5 concerts for the season, and just wanted to give you an overview of that. Of course, as you know, we also feature education concerts, Peter and the Wolf, our annual Symphonic Spooktacular for families and children, and also Downtown Rhythms, our outdoor concert, featuring a lot of jazz, Broadway, movie and TV music, and all kinds of fun crossover pop style music. So we hope you'll join us this season, our 42nd season of the Victoria Symphony Orchestra, a symphonic travelogue. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the concert hall.